Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ustad Abu Ayub here, and today we are going to be speaking about one of the most incredible leaders from Islamic history. Now, right behind me is the Fatih Mosque. I'm in Istanbul, Turkey, and this mosque was built by none other than Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih, the seventh Ottoman Sultan and the seventh generation grandson of Ertugrul Ghazi, whom many of you would have known about and heard about. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih is the famous leader and ruler of the Ottomans who ends up fulfilling the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But before we get into that, we're going to learn a little bit about his early career, his upbringing, and what made him so special. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih was born on the 30th of March, 1432, as one of the sons of Sultan Murad II. In his early childhood, Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih was told about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and the opening of the city of Constantinople. His mother, Huma Hatun, would oftentimes carry him in her arms and walk down to the edge of the Bosphorus across from the city of Constantinople, and would often tell her child that one day this city will be yours. And Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih, when he was just a young Shahzadeh, a young prince, a young Ottoman prince, one day the great Sheikh Haji Bayram Wali, who was famed throughout all of Anatolia, came to the court of Sultan Murad II. And Sultan Murad II, at this point, the father of Sultan Muhammad, was preparing for an expedition and a campaign against the city of Constantinople. At this point, Sultan Murad II turns to the esteemed scholar and asks Haji Bayram Wali, "Will I be the one to fulfill the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" Whereby Haji Bayram Wali looks at the Sultan and then shakes his head and tells him, "No, you will not be the one to fulfill it." And then the esteemed scholar turns to the young Shahzadeh, this young future Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih, and tells the Sultan that this young child of yours will be the one to fulfill the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he turns to one of his students, who is the Sheikh Akshamsuddin. He turns to him and he says, and Sheikh Akshamsuddin will be with him and help him fulfill that prophecy. After this event, Sultan Murad II, determined to educate his young son in a proper manner, an Islamic manner, assigns Sheikh Akshamsuddin to become the spiritual tutor of Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih. Educating the young Shahzadeh will become the priority of Sultan Murad II. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih will have, in addition to Sheikh Akshamsuddin, the great tutor Mullah Ghurani, who's a direct student of the Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, who teaches him Arabic, tafsir, fiqh, and other Islamic sciences. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih would also master Arabic, Persian, French, Serbian, and Greek. In line with Ottoman tradition, Shahzadeh Muhammad is sent to a distant Sanjak, an Ottoman province whereby he would learn administrative skills. He would also learn how to govern and participate in some of the military campaigns of his father, Sultan Murad. When Shahzadeh Muhammad was about 12 years old, Sultan Murad, who had recently defeated the Hungarians and other crusading states, decides to abdicate his throne in favor of Shahzadeh Muhammad. And all of a sudden we find this 12-year-old boy coming to the throne of this upcoming superpower in the world. At this moment, the crusading nations, the European powers such as Hungary and Venice and others, rejoice at this moment, feeling that now is the right time to strike the Ottomans while they have a young, inexperienced commander at their helm. In 1444, a massive crusader army nears the borders of the 12-year-old Sultan. His advisors and his wazirs urge the Sultan to recall his father from retirement. And then Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih tells him, "If you are the Sultan, then lead your armies. And if I am the Sultan, then I order you to lead your armies." Sultan Murad II would come out of retirement, and Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih would gain valuable experience, which he would soon be able to use when his father passes away, when Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih is 19 years old. Now, at this age, Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih returns to the Ottoman throne, this time more than ever determined to fulfill one thing, and that is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which speaks about the city of Constantinople, and which had been already attempted by the likes of the Sahabi of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Ayub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu, some 8 centuries earlier. The opening of Constantinople was important for a number of reasons. On the one hand, you had the beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which spoke about the opening of the city of Constantinople, about having a blessed leader and a blessed army. And on the other hand, you had the Romans, the rulers of the city, who still caused discord and troubles for the Ottomans and caused disunity among the Anatolian principalities. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih, therefore, was determined to put an end to this and be that Amir, be that ruler, that leader that the Prophet ﷺ had so beautifully explained and spoken about. Disunity and infighting was a major problem for the Ottomans as well as the other Turkish beyliks that were situated in Anatolia. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih needed a solution to this, and so he quickly established a peace with the Karamanids. The Karamanids were one of the most powerful beyliks in Anatolia, situated in the city of Konya. Once this peace was established, Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih can now turn his attention towards the city of Constantinople. The first thing that he does is he decides to build a new fortress, a new castle, which would be able to choke off any further reinforcements as well as trade to and from the city by establishing an Ottoman presence on the European side of the city. Here, Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih chooses a location directly across from another Ottoman fortress. And together, these two fortresses are at the narrowest point of the Bosphorus. This is the waterway which separates Europe from Asia. And by holding this key position now, the Ottomans would be able to control all of the ships that would cross through from the city of Constantinople to the Black Sea as well as other ports, and could choke off all help and reinforcements for the city. Amazingly, this fortress is built in just a few months. Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih urging his workers and his soldiers onwards, they complete this and establish fortifications with towers as well as with cannons. And soon they can test whether or not this would be indeed what would be called and known as the throat cutter. When the fortress is completed, it is soon put to the test. One day, a Roman ship on its way from the Black Sea decides to press through, and unheedful of the warnings of the Ottomans to stop and to turn around, that ship tries to cross through that gauntlet. And at which point the garrison of the fortress opens fire upon this ship, causing it to sink. Thereafter, all shipping from the Black Sea and from other ports that were friendly to the Romans were stopped. And this places Sultan Mohammed Al-Fatih ever closer to his goal of achieving and fulfilling the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Join me for another episode of Our History when we'll look at the opening of the city of Constantinople and the fulfillment of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.